Hey, it's late. We're late. Not pregnant late, but we're just late. It's not a big deal. Relax. Almost Agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, go to the website, almostagreement.com, take over your owner. Happy holidays and whatnot. It's, what is it, like the 5th night of Hanukkah tonight? Something like that? Christmas is just a few days away, and then Kwanzaa starts shortly after that, so... whatever you're into, pagan or not, we're good with it. Just enjoy it in the way you enjoy it, and we hope you have a good time with it. We're on Almost Agreement. We are on all your favorite podcast providers. Go there, like, friend, and share, follow, text us to your friends. Do what you can do to support the show. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're looking back at a 25, looking ahead at a 26. It's going to be a year. It was a year. And somehow Trump figured out how to be more of a dick than normal. We'll talk about that. I can't not talk about this one. Anyway, I'm seeing you. Here we go. We're going to do sharp. Hi, buddy.
Hey.
How you been?
I be.
Well, I missed you the last couple of days, even though we're still doing it a few days late. Always like to be on time, but, whatever. Things happen. Had a fun little adventure with my eldest. So what's new with you?
Not much.
Nothing?
No.
Nothing new? Nothing exciting? Nothing world? I don't know. I'm taking. The Rob Reiner, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
That whole story, and then Trump's fucking truth on it or whatever.
Yeah.
I know, to be the president of the United States or any major politician, you have to have a pretty significant ego. I get it. That's part of it comes with the territory. But literally, your son killed you because you hate me. It's Trump's take on that situation. And, that's beyond that level of ego is beyond what I thought was possible in a human being. But, not to mention just tasteless and whatever. But,
right.
Forget the tasteless part of it. It's just it's just, it makes you sound sad. Unless there was something deliberately specific, not everything that happens in this country has something to do with you, Mr. Trump. Not every single occasion.
No, but you can make it sound like it.
But right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm going to pretend like it is. And so that was that one.
I'm trying to remember I don't think he ever acknowledged Cheney dying.
We were at half staff for a while.
I know we were at half staff, but I thought I remember seeing an article that he never put out a truth about it or anything. He just kind of didn't say anything about it at all.
I mean, that was I don't know. I believe at the time my stance on that one was Mama said, if you don't have anything nice to say, and so I just kind of kept my mouth shut on that one. I think the week that he died, that we at the very end of the episode, I was like, oh yeah, Cheney died. And then I played the outro song.
Yeah.
I think that's how I did it. I may have even said something in the outro, but that was it. But again, I don't know. What a dickhead thing to say. So,
Then double down on it when somebody else asks him about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just read the room, bro. All right, maybe that was a little bit of an asshole thing to say. I don't know. That's Trump MO. For real. He's always backs down, or never backs down. If he said it, he's never gonna. The best you're gonna get is he's just gonna ignore the question and move on.
Yeah,
he's never gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I kind of was
call you piggy.
Right.
Sit down.
That's just a disgusting question. I'm not answering that because you're a reporter and that's what you do is ask me questions. And if I don't like the question, I'm going to call you names.
You're from fake news. I don't have to listen to you.
But in the show about local stuff, we'll talk about local stuff. Gay Street Bridge is open for people to walk on.
I did see that.
Everybody's so excited. I find it's one of the ones this Gay Street Bridge saga is one of the ones I find super fascinating about people getting upset about. Our friend at Backroom Knox is very upset about we're spending $60 million on another walking bridge that's half a mile away. The plan is they're going to do a green space greenway walkway on the South Knox Bridge, the James White Parkway Bridge. Mm-hmm. So they're going to cut half that bridge down and make that a walking trail, but it's supposed to be they're going to plant trees and stuff on the bridge. It's probably going to be pretty neat.
Could be cool.
They don't. It doesn't need the traffic. So, because it was built for the bypass plan that was supposed to go all the way down to Sevierville or whatever. And when that got killed in South Knox because people wouldn't, give in to the eminent domain argument, it just dead ends down there. So it doesn't do nearly the traffic it was planning on. They were hoping it was going to do.
Right.
And so it's got plenty of space. So basically, all 4 major bridges that cross the river in the greater downtown area are all going to have significant walkability. There are bike lanes and sidewalks on Henley Street. Gay Street is 100% bikes and walking only. Which I'm curious because a couple of years ago, before they shut the bridge to traffic down, they put up like a solid barrier between the sidewalk and the roadway. Mm-hmm. Like, so there's like a fence, like a knee-high or like a waist-high fence that goes on there on the sidewalk because it's a much narrower bridge to help corral the foot traffic to make sure nobody gets hit by a car, I guess. And it's still on there. Like Scott said, he went and walked it just to do it, and he was like halfway across the bridge on the sidewalk, and he's like, "Well, I'm walking on the sidewalk. I could be walking right in the middle of the road."
Right.
But this little barrier is there, and there's no brakes in it, and so you have to go all the way to the end to get out of it, or jump over it. And Scott's not the type that's going to jump over even a small fence.
Not going to hop the fence.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I'd want to put I don't know if I want to put that jumping weight on that bridge right now either. Sure. But so, like, the complaint is like we have 4 walking, like, once this stupid UT gets their pedestrian bridge, we're going to have 4 walking bridges in less than a mile of river. And I was thinking about today as I was going over the walking bridge across what river is Nashville? Cumberland River?
I'm not sure.
As we're walking across, you'll appreciate this because when we went to the Predators game last year, we parked way down on the east side of Broadway and walked all the way up Broadway to go to Bridgestone.
Did we? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure where exactly we were.
So today we parked in a parking garage right next to Bridgestone and walked all the way down to it was literally like the opposite. But we walked down and go over the footbridge down there and go to the football game. Last time me and him went to the Packers game there last year, it's called the Veterans Memorial Bridge, which is one that's just south of the stadium. That's a little bit further south of the stadium.
Okay.
And it's a car bridge, but it has like a wide sidewalk on each side, as well as car traffic on it. And then just on the north side of the stadium, there's another bridge. And so, like, Nashville has 3 bridges that are all walk capable. I think they have a couple more as the river goes up, because the river goes up around the north side of town, and then down the east side. But the big difference in Nashville, too, to be fair, is like Nashville. I'm trying to think of how to verbiage this. Like Nashville proper is on one side of the river, and then there's a little bit of, like, and really it's just the stadium. There is some other stuff over there, but for the most part, the only thing on the other side of the river on that east side is the stadium.
Is it? Okay.
Because that'd be like if everything was the same with Knoxville, except we picked Neyland Stadium up and put it over there where the Knoxville Glove is, or whatever it is, on the south side of the river. There is neighborhood. There's a hotel. They're building the new Nissan Stadium right next door. There's some business and stuff like that. But almost the totality of the east side of downtown, the east side of the river downtown, is Nissan Stadium, and it's directly adjacent parking lots. And so there's not a lot of action over there. So it's like, it's not the same. Knoxville's not the same. Point being, $60 million for another walking bridge does seem a little bit ridiculous to me. The fact that any city of Knoxville tax money is going towards that does seem ridiculous to me. We've already talked about that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, who cares? Like, whatever. What's like I guess the point is that the Gay Street Bridge will not ever take another car across it. Period. The only way a car is going to drive south on Gay Street and continue driving south across the river is when a brand new bridge is built.
Right.
So it's either no bridge for any traffic, walking, biking, driving, or we try to keep this iconic looking bridge functionally standing for as long as we can for people to walk across. And that's where we're at. But like, for some reason, people can't get it through their heads that the difference in weight from a car and multiple cars. So I think they said like 1,000 people is their target number. I think that's the high end. Like, if there was a situation where they were worried that more than 1,000 people were going to go out there, they'd go stop people.
Yeah.
But like, thousands of people is a lot of people to walk across the bridge at the same time.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Right. I mean, I can see it on a game day. Like, it's doable.
Yeah. Or Boomsday. Well, we don't have Boomsday anymore.
Which is still my solution to this whole thing is we do Boomsday 2030 and do a bridge implosion as the finale of the show. So all the fireworks go off of the Gay Street Bridge, and as the show concludes, we drop that whole bridge into the river, which I'm sure the TVA would be super fine with us dumping a whole bridge in the river.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they do that all the time. They go clean it up. They go dig it out of the river, but it's easier than trying to, like, you can't just, I don't know how you piece by piece take that thing down. You're going to end up with a bunch of crap in the river no matter how you do it. And so the question is, does the city of Knoxville, the state of Tennessee, Knox County, the United States government have any desire to pony up the amount of money? Because I think they said, which again, going back to our mile of sidewalk conversation, like a straight up standard, the cheapest functional bridge we could build over that spot, it'd be about $100 million. And in government terms, that means it'd be about, what, $225, $300 once it's all said and done? They'll say it costs $100 million. They'll start working on it, and by the time they actually complete it, it'll be $200, $300 million, right? Yeah. So just to be friendly and not pick a secondary fight, $100 million to build a new bridge across there. But that would be the straight concrete pylon, very generic, like the bridge. I'm trying to think of Alcoa's the Alcoa Highway Bridge, the South Knox Bridge on the other side. It won't look cool. It'll just be, concrete and platform. It won't have any archway to it. Because I think even the Henley Street Bridge, I think they spent like $60 or $80 million on the refurb a couple of years ago.
Just they tore down most of it, pretty much.
Right.
Down to the studs or whatever. Yeah, I remember that was really annoying.
Yeah, now had we hadn't had the Gay Street Bridge then, we'd have had some problems. That would have been a huge issue. Yeah. Without the Gay Street Bridge at that juncture. But either way, I mean, I don't know, apparently Scott was talking about the history of it a little bit. The Gay Street Bridge opened in 1919. And when it was designed and commissioned by the city of Knoxville, it was for horse and carriage. And by the time they finished building it, the first handful of cars started actually hitting the streets of Knoxville. We didn't have, when they were finishing the bridge, the car existed. Right. But not in any form that any local governments were thinking about trying to build for cars. Yeah. And so it was never designed to handle cars, period. And it's been however many years handling cars, doing stuff. I mean, it's 120 years old, 110 years old, something like that. Yeah. That bridge. And they had a major refurb of it in the 90s. Maybe.
No.
But anyway,
that's my recollection.
Whatever. That bridge is well outlived. I think it was designed to last 50 years. Or 60 years. For horse and carriage, again, just to underline that part. It was designed for horse and carriage, not for cars, period. But its original design was designed its expiration date was 60 years from open. And again, open was in the teens or 20s of the 19th or 18th of the 20th century. We are now a quarter into the 21st century, and that bridge is still up and in use.
I wonder how long there's been a Henley Street Bridge.
And just looking at it, I'm going to say that was built in the 70s.
Think so?
That would be my guess. Wonder if there's a wiki for the Henley Street Bridge. I bet you there is. Yeah, there is.
For the longest time, Gay Street was just the only other way to traverse the river.
It's completed in 1931.
I was about to say, I think it's been around a while.
That's pretty old. It was three.
It's probably because the Gay Street Bridge was under designed.
Somebody needs to update this thing. It says it's one of 3 vehicle bridges connecting downtown. Oh, no. Never mind. It's right. I lied. I forgot about it. Was the South Knox Bridge, which is the John Sevier or James White Parkway Bridge, and then the Alcoa Highway is called the Buck Carnes. I didn't know that. That is the Buck Carnes Bridge. And then there is the James C. Ford Memorial Bridge that carries U.S. Route 441, which is also known as Henley Street. Oh, what? And Chapman Highway in South Knoxville. All right, well, since we're doing it, let's see what the Gay Street Bridge is in Wiki. Gay Street Bridge was completed in 1898, excuse me. Oh, wow. I was 30 years senior. It is now, it's already updated to a pedestrian bridge in Wiki. Crosses Tennessee River, completed in 1898. It is 1,500 foot. It's the oldest of the 4 bridges connecting downtown to south. The other 3 are Henley, James Buck Carnes, and the James C. Ford Memorial. So the James C. Ford Memorial Bridge is the South Knox Bridge, I guess? I'm confused. The first bridge across the Tennessee River at this site was a temporary pontoon bridge built during the American Civil War. It was followed by a permanent bridge with stone pillars built by Union General Ambrose E. Burnside that was washed away in the flood of 1867. Knox County built a covered bridge at the site, which opened May 2nd, 1875, but it was blown down by a tornado shortly afterwards. Wow. So the moral of the story is the Gay Street Bridge is the only bridge that could handle this crossing, apparently, and will never be. There was never there was no predecessor that's stuck around for long, and maybe there will be no following act that's going to do as well as our Gay Street Bridge has done. 1898, so that's 127, 28 years that bridge has been standing there.
Yeah,
it's a long time. It's longer. It's certainly longer than it was supposed to. And so again, like we got, like, you know, the way I see it, like I could see the state pitching in a few bucks from the state transportation budget. I just can't imagine that there's going to be any federal grant money available for this.
Most likely not.
It doesn't have the traffic. It's just that, like, you need like yes, there is, like, I mean, apparently you can make the argument for some of the aesthetic of it as part of the need for the federal government to pitch in, but that's a hard sell, man. Like, if it's pretty and has traffic, okay, that's an easy sell. But if it's just pretty, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's one that. So it's going to be a question of, does the city of Knoxville, or maybe Boyd and the Haslams and the other 4 families in Knoxville that have all the money will pitch in, and we'll make some big. It'll be the safety fence pilot something memorial bridge. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. Work with me. Cleveland Browns, whatever brands these people own. Was it Safety First? What is the name of the fence? Invisible fence?
Oh, is that, who's that?
Pet Safe Systems. That's Boyd.
Oh, okay.
So the Pet Safe Pilot Flying J Covenant Health Bridge. Maybe that'll get us. Maybe that's the way we get the funding.
Possible.
I mean, the other question to me is, like, could we make not a shorter bridge in length, but a shorter bridge in height? Because I think that would cut off a few dollars if it wasn't 90 feet in the air.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's just you have nowhere to land. Like the south side's you can't. There's nowhere to terminate this bridge on the south side. That's because of the cliff on the south side, where on the north side of the river you could do it. I'm sure there's some minimum height that the TVA is going to require it to clear for whatever boat traffic that goes down there. Right. They still push barges up through there every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, barges aren't particularly tall, I guess, but I don't know what the tallest boat that runs the Tennessee River regularly that they would want to keep clearance for. But as long as it's that tall, I don't know. Could you do a ramp bridge where the totality of the bridge is going uphill? So you'd go from Nayland Drive down on the riverfront and go up to it.
It's possible.
I'm trying to think of a way to make it more useful. Like it would like both ways on Nayland Drive. So the east and west on Nayland Drive both kind of curve into it and make some weird interchange. It still would be no traffic. No traffic would use it. It doesn't make it. That's, again, it goes back to, like, even doing that is not going to get you any more traffic on it. I think you get a little more traffic that way because, like, nobody goes on that end of Gay Street. Like, unless you are very specifically coming from certain parts of downtown to try to cross the river, 9 out of 10 people take Henley Street or the South Bridge anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's just time to, as long as we can keep it a walking bridge and keep the current bridge standing, until the amount of like annual cost and upkeep gets to be ridiculous, just try to keep it alive as long as we can. I think that's the only real logical solution to me. Unless you want to burn down the Cabela Temple up there and continue Gay Street further south, and maybe you could take some more traffic. But that goes into a bunch of residential and stuff right there.
Right.
They go back there behind Kearns. I don't know. I'd have to look at an aerial. I think you might be able to do it because there is a street that runs back there that runs sort of parallel to Chapman that goes down pretty far down to like Moody and stuff like that. I mean, it's all residential through there, but it is a road that goes in between all these neighborhoods and apartment complexes and stuff.
A road that goes under the railroad tracks?
No, that's the other side of Sevier. I remember, like if you go straight across the Straight Street Bridge, right into the old JFG sign, the Cabela Shriner Temple or whatever's on the top of that hill.
Right.
But then behind that is a bunch of apartments and houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And you could get it. I mean, it would still
behind the Shoney's.
Wouldn't make a bunch of sense, but yeah, come down there behind the Shoney's, the old College Park apartment complex. There's a road that runs behind the college, like so. If Chapman's on one side, there's another road that runs the other side of College Park Apartments, which is not College Park Apartments anymore, but you know what I mean. So 2 separate scathing reports released on the Juvenile Service Center this week. Did you see anything on that?
No.
So both the comptroller and one other office had done one of them was kind of weird because it was done back in like the investigation or whatever part of it was done back in April. So it's all the stuff that we already knew was the problem that the report was talking about. And it's like 96, it's the same 96 things or whatever that everybody keeps talking about, that like a dozen of those 96 things have already been fixed. Like 50 of those 96 things are currently being worked on. And then the last little set of those things are the stuff that are capital expenditures that they have no funding for. So like there was no new information. It was the same crap. But apparently one of the things out of the comptroller's office was the Beans record keeping was so bad. Like apparently one of the things that they would do is like if you're a salaried employee and you took vacation for a week, we didn't make any notes of that. You just took vacation. And so when they're going through like reporting and trying to figure out who was working and how many people were working, they don't know because the timesheet says you were there because you're a salaried employee. So you're always there unless you're quote not there. And so like it's unclear whether there's anybody working certain days because they don't know. They have no idea. Apparently, like the state child services requires like a couple years ago they added like a digital reporting system for incidents involving the detainees or whatever, the guests for lack of a better word.
Right.
So any incident, whether that incident was between a guest and a social worker, a detainee and an employee, a detainee and another detainee, whatever, if there's any incident while they were in custody, there was supposed to be a report filed through this digital system. They hadn't done it in a couple of years. And like after something happened, they started doing some of them, but it still didn't add up. They were still doing paper reports and they were filing them. The files made no sense, but there's just a room apparently somewhere just full of paperwork that's not filed in any way, just stacked up and whatever.
Billy and Johnny got into a fight.
Yeah. And so the question to me, like the real question to me, like if you want to get down to the brass tacks of it, the number one question to me is when are we going to take his name off the building? He doesn't deserve the legacy of having his name on that building. Or if he does, we need to turn it into a different thing that sucks and is supposed to suck and build a new child service center somewhere else. And so the Richard Bean name sits on something that sucks and everybody knows it sucks. And so his name is associated with sucks. He deserves it at this
derelict
point.
Building.
Let it fall apart. I don't care. What's that place? Oh, that's the Bean Center. What's the Bean Center? I don't know. It's trash. It's not like it's an untrue statement. Like he need like it's just it seems insane to me that they haven't just at least maybe not officially renamed it, but at least knock the letters off the walls. It's actually a little bit upsetting to me that they haven't taken that step yet. I mean, that was one of the whatever that UT the UT inner whatever investigation that they did, that like Knox County asked this UT department And that's this, I can't remember, it's part of the Baker Center and all the different governmental private relations office students thing, whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
Is this a recent thing? I don't know what you're talking about.
Like it's so the Baker Center is as I understand it, the Baker Center is it's a department inside the University of Tennessee, and they have a bunch of different stuff, but some of it's professional, some of it's student, and it's kind of like goes back and forth. And some of the people that are employed by it are also teachers to the students there. But it's like, if you are if a county commission wants to put a task force together to try to, let's say, attack homelessness and try to figure out how to do something significant with homelessness, they'll contract the Baker Center, and they will go through state law and federal law and grants and all the different things that are available to help work on that thing and help you build a policy to do it. And so, like, because they have, like, in their teams of people that are employees / students in the program, they have a better understanding of what you legally can do, what is acceptable policy, and then they have some parts of it that they go and see what other communities have done, and they have relations with other groups like them that are in other towns, and so they'll be like, hey, we heard that Cincinnati did a cool thing, let's talk to their people. And so it's like it's a networking information thing. Yeah. And so they had the Knox County Commission / the Oversight Board had asked the Baker Center to send out their team and go through, and basically they created a checklist based off of what the Child Services and state law requires this building to be, and they go through, and that's where they got this 96 points from. It's like, okay, well, these are the things that you should have, these are the things that aren't happening, these is how much staff you need to have for this much output. You know, they went through the budget and financial stuff and say, well, this is how much budget they were getting, this is how much budget should be, like, and this is what they do. And so anyway, that they went through and did that whole thing. And one of the top lines of the report was, this thing is so messed up, you need to start over. Like, paraphrasing, but that's right. Essentially what they came out. The conclusion was, there's no redeeming qualities to any part of this. This entire thing needs to change, from the building and the structures and the physical thing that this building is, to the training and the staffing and the culture of the employment and the treatment of these kids and all this. Like, everything needs to change, starting with the name on the building. That was their conclusion.
Really? Damn.
You know, and it's like, that to me is like, okay, it's that bad. You get your name on a building because you either put a bunch of money into it yourself, or you did something cool.
Right.
Or you died on the job.
True.
And the job you did was kind of cool, theoretically, or at least cool by government standards. Like, that's why we're talking about the whatever, Trooper, whatever Memorial Highway Bridge. That's like every overpass and underpass in Tennessee is named after an officer that died. I mean, I think every single one's an officer that died in the line of duty. This is I can't remember. There's always one over there in Cookeville that I always like. It's Trooper something. It's like a rhymey name, and it always kind of makes me giggle. It's like Trooper Cooper Memorial Bridge,
right?
But it's like, I don't mean to giggle at it. It sucks he died in the line of duty or whatever, but it's still just like Trooper Cooper, and it just makes me laugh. So, but like, that's how you get your name on stuff. You either pay for it yourself, you are exceptionally amazing, or you died doing something cool. Bean is not any three of those things. So I guess you could make the argument that he was exceptionally amazing in the overall political machine that was Knox County government from like the 70s to the early aughts. Apparently that's what the Bean machine was good at.
I mean, was this facility his brainchild, I wonder?
I don't know exactly where it is. But I'm thinking, and I keep thinking about it too. It's like, because the other part that happened this week that's important in the grand story of things, it's like the Oversight Board from County Commission is now rethinking giving it to the Sheriff's Office at all. So they did vote to delay the handover from Jan 1 next week and a half from now, whatever. They did already approve moving it back from Jan 1 to July 1. But now, in at least the oversight portion of County Commission, because all 5 members of the Oversight Board are County Commissioners, there seems to be a feeling of maybe we shouldn't go to the Sheriff's Office at all. Because just on logistic purposes, it's like, we're going to have a new sheriff. So Spangler's going to run it for, if they take control in July, Spangler's going to run it for 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, before the new sheriff gets sworn in August. in late August. I can't remember when swearing is. The election will be early August, so it would be maybe mid-September is when they actually take their seats.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they go in.
So either way, Spengler's going to take control of it for 2 months, and then some guy that's the freshly elected sheriff of Knox County, other than maybe Jimmy. If it's Jimmy JJ, then he's not a new sheriff. He's just the newly elected sheriff.
Reoccurring.
Which I still haven't heard what happened to the other sheriff candidate who's been in the hospital for the last week. I haven't heard what the cause was. He was just in ICU forever.
Not sure if I saw that story.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like, it was literally, what's her face, Kimberly Glenn, is it the
communications?
The communications secretary or whatever from the. Well, we just wanted to announce that we know that he's in ICU, and we're not going to tell you why, but pray for him. Okay, good update. I think it was already out. I think WBIR had already reported it before they officially announced it from the sheriff's office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, again, and it's like, okay, you're sick, you're hurt, something's going on. That's important. I'm not mad at you. Take care of your stuff. But we're also gearing up for what seems to be a pretty significant Republican primary for the sheriff's office. I think we already had 5 declared. He would have been one of those 5.
I've seen a couple signs out.
I think there's one guy who backed out because another guy announced. But that still keeps us around 4. There's 4 candidates for the Republican primary for the sheriff of Knox County so far. I don't know that we have any Democratic candidates or independent candidates in the play yet. Nobody's announced, and nobody's pulled paper. Well, can't pull paperwork for another till the 1st anyway. But we're 5 months out. It's not that far away, and you got a dude that's been in the ICU for, as far as last I heard, at least he's still there, and it's been like 10 days now. Is he still good? It's like. I'm not trying to push the family here, but is he still running for office?
Right.
Is he going to pop out in a couple of weeks and now he's got some sympathy vote thing? I don't know if that's cool. Like, take care of your health, man. I'm not trying to say you should or shouldn't run for office, but if you're going to, I don't know. Like, we just went through a real spat in the presidential thing with ageism and concerns about the health of our elected officials. And that's a continuing argument. There's apparently some lady running for an office in, I think it's a Senate seat. No, it's a congressional seat in California, whose 81st birthday will be this summer, and she's running for office in November.
I want to say there was a woman in Maine that was older. I think somebody was stepping down. So she declared that she was going to run, but I think she had some kind of primary. I don't know if that primary's already happened.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's our fault. We vote for him. We don't care. Like, for whatever reason, great-grandparents are not too old to run for office and have major responsibilities, and we let them do it. So I guess we have to take our own responsibility for that. I mean, at least in the short run, I think Fred Thompson was getting up there when he was senator for the state, but I think he retired in like his 60s, maybe early 70s.
He was still doing acting. He was on Law and Order.
Yeah, he was great on Law and Order.
He was.
I liked him as the DA. But I don't know. We need to get over this. We need to get young and better people involved in politics, and as long as we keep electing old people, that ain't going to happen. Anyway, back to the point. The conversations now come up. It's like, maybe we shouldn't give this to the sheriff's office, not just because this thing is a lot more intense than we had anticipated it being. We're going to dump it on a guy in his first couple of weeks in the seat, or it's not going to be fixed yet by the time whoever takes it over.
All right. Like, the last guy that left or stepped down or whatever, I think he said some of the fixes, were on like at least 2 to 3 year plan before they would get fixed.
Right. And so I think the other part of the thought is, it's like, well, if this goes to an elected official seat, then it's going to rotate, at least as the sheriff's office has been. It's in an 8-year cycle. We're going to have a new head of the juvenile detention center coming in every 8 years. And is that good for this format of things? Which is a fair question.
But they're basically already doing it with the adult detention center.
But the argument is those are 2 completely different animals.
True.
But that is to say that, I would assume that whomever is the superintendent or the warden or whatever the job title is for the Knox County Adult Detention Center doesn't necessarily change every time we change sheriffs.
True.
I would assume that it's not like cabinet positions for the President of the United States that you go clean house and start over every time the new guy gets elected. Well, A, because we have the Knox County Sheriff's Office Advisory Board or whatever, that's the subcommittee inside County Commission who is charged with protecting employees from the politics of running for sheriff. So if I'm the warden or whatever the job title is, and you get elected sheriff, and you fire and replace me with somebody that you want, I could go to that board and be like, well, he only fired me because he got elected. And that's factually true. So you fired me because of politics, not because I was doing a bad job.
Right.
And you can't do that by Knox County rules. So at some level, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't really do that in that level either. And so that would be the assumption here too, is that he would hire a director of the Juvenile Service Center, whoever the current sheriff is. So if it goes to the sheriff while Spangler's still there in July, he'll hire the director of the Juvenile Service Center in July when they take control over it. And then the new sheriff will come in and keep that guy. Unless there is some specific reason why the new sheriff wants to fire that guy that has nothing to do with the fact that Spangler was the one that hired him.
Right.
And he can prove that.
Your 2 months are up. You haven't done enough yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because that's a weird thing to kind of branch off a little bit. Like I could agree with the premise of it, but it's like, okay, well, we the people elected you to be sheriff, and maybe one of the things that you ran on was my predecessor or the guy I'm running against, who is the incumbent or whatever, that I want you to elect me over. He has hired bad people for certain positions, and I want to get in there and replace those people. But those people then have a complaint about you firing them if you win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but on the books done by the independent, Baker Center or whatever, it sounds like they would have decent cause to let some of those people go.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that that's happened. I don't know, because it's like these sheriff races here are such a weird little ism, because nobody knows really what they do. What's the sheriff do? Like, he can't really change. Like, he can do policy stuff, but he can't change what you get arrested for.
Right.
I can't run for sheriff and be like, I'm not going to arrest people for, home invasion or whatever. I don't know, just something random. And then take office, and then a bunch of whatever it is, the crime happens, and I hold up to my word, and we don't arrest people for that thing. It's like, well, the TBI and the state will come in and remove me forcibly from that office because I'm not enforcing the laws of the state of Tennessee.
Right.
Whether I was elected or not. Looting is legal in Knox County from now on. It's not legal. It's just I won't arrest you for it. I promise. And then a bunch of looting goes down, and I don't arrest anybody. The state will come in a heartbeat.
Right.
So
that's what happened in some jurisdictions, but that was more like district attorneys that said they weren't going to prosecute certain crimes or whatever.
Well, that's what's happening. That's one of the big things in California right now is they like prosecutable theft went up to there was a number. There's like a dollar value.
Okay, yeah.
Like it has to exceed like $1,000 for them to bother prosecuting it. And that's like a stated policy of the prosecution office. And so a bunch of thieves are out there stealing $900 worth of stuff.
Nice.
Because they know they won't get arrested. And so this was a long time ago. Rogan had this chef from some restaurant when he was still living in California that was on the show. And he's talking about it. He's like, well, I had this blacksmith make me our steak knives for the table steak knives. Like on the table, steak knives. And they're these, handcrafted, really nice steak knives. I say they're $1,000 a knife. That's what I price them at. If you want to come into my place and buy one of my steak knives off of my table, it's $1,000. Because then if you steal it, I can get to the state of California will prosecute you for it. Where if I valued them more accurately at like $100 a knife or whatever, people could come in and steal them, and I have no recourse if they steal my knives.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a fucking weird way. That's a weird planet to live on. I mean, I can get the argument that it's like, well, you're talking about, a more realistic $100. Somebody steals one of your knives, it's $100. It costs the state or the municipality thousands of dollars to prosecute that person.
Right.
And so I could kind of get the argument. But at the same time, I don't know. It depends how hard. I don't know. That doesn't. But I don't know. To me, that's the point. That's why we pay taxes. That's the we pay taxes to offset the fact that you're right. It's not really the value here isn't there. I agree, but at the same time, we don't need people just knowing that they can get away with stealing stuff, regardless of how expensive the stuff is.
Right. There's usually other charges that they can go after you with. I mean, usually, if you're going to rob someone or whatever,
right, breaking and entering,
right. Have like armed robbery or make some kind of like threat to them.
Could you make it an aggravated armed robbery because you stole a knife, and that would be an aggravated assault if you used the knife in a fight?
In a threatening manner, yeah.
Like, I didn't use the knife to steal, but I stole a knife, so then I had a knife in my possession, which would be an aggravated robbery if I used a weapon as part of my theft. So once I took the knife, it was now an aggravated theft. Say, man, back up. I got your knife, and I'm keeping it. Seems like
as long as the offended party has a reasonable fear for their safety.
Yeah. He was going to stab me with my own knife, bro. All right, and then to wrap up the terrible week that the Juvenile Service Center had, one of their employees has filed a discrimination lawsuit because he's black, and apparently, and this is interim shit.
I think I did see that story.
Where it seems like, at least the inference that I got from the Compass and the headline, or the small bit I read out of the News Sentinel one, I think is the other place I saw it. Anyway, was that what was the interim guy's name? Baxter?
I can't remember.
Whatever his name was, and again, I can kind of empathize with the position is that, you're an interim guy, you're supposed to be overhauling the place. It's not easy to fire government employees. It's always complicated. It's difficult to just flat fire somebody. But he wanted to get rid of this guy, and so he thought maybe being an asshole and having the other supervisors be an asshole to him, maybe he could get him to quit. Seems to be the inference that I got. And one or more of the people who were being an asshole to try to get him to quit were being racist about being assholes.
I thought part of it was like they advanced somebody else that hadn't been there as long. So that was like one of his grievances.
I don't remember seeing that.
I've been there 5 years, and this person's been there 6 months, just got promoted into a position that I was up for or whatever.
Well, and I guess his argument is he got the promotion because he's white. But I don't know. I didn't catch that part of it, but sure, you can add that to the list of grievances. And it's like, you know what we, well, not you because you don't live in Knox County technically anymore, but we, Knox County taxpayers, don't need a underfunded entity that can't afford to do its own shit anyway, and all the extra costs it's going to take to get it back up to snuff now gets added on with like a $2 million lawsuit on top of the money that they don't have to pay for things. We're not going to get them. They're not going to be paying out a lawsuit. So, again,
wouldn't that come out of the county, or does that directly come out of that center?
I know. I mean, I don't know. I have to look at it because usually the complaint has to be to individuals. It can't be to entities. It would be whoever the director was, the other supervisor. He's probably named Larson J. and some of the other oversight board people. I don't know. Because like when what was the other lawsuit that happened recently? There's somebody suing Knox County schools for claiming that the vouchers are discriminatory or something like that. And like Betsy Henderson,
I think that's against the state.
But Betsy Henderson is one of the named defendants in the lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
Because she, at the time the lawsuit was filed, she was the chair of Knox County School Board.
Right.
Oh no, that's the one with the charter school thing. That lawsuit. Betsy Henderson's named in that lawsuit as the chair of Knox County Schools, or as a school board member or whatever. And it's like, she's all about your Christian charter. She would 100% vote for that if she could, but she's following state law and can't. And so she's a named defendant in it. And it's like, that's kind of funny. I mean, I have no sympathy for her getting sued for anything, but just the idea of like something that she is pro advocating for as an individual. She is the defendant in a lawsuit because she followed state law, even though Scrimeti made a real weird, hypothetical judgment on it. Or hypothetical.
Like, well, I'm not going to try to defend it.
Hypothetical opinion on it. And it's like, well, you have to, man.
I'm just not going to show up to court. Get a default judgment.
Right. Many congratulations to my friend Lauren Ryder, who is no longer a city councilor. She's a very happy lady right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she fled the country.
Nice.
Like, not like fled the country, afraid, but I think she
well-needed vacation.
She was waiting on going on a vacation or two for her, because she felt obliged to be available to her constituents and didn't want to leave town and skip meetings and stuff like that.
It's not going to pull a Ted Cruz, wait for a blizzard and go down to Mexico.
Yeah, but that's not avoiding the public for a voting session or something like that. That's avoiding the public who's all freezing to death right now. Like, that's different.
Yeah, avoiding scrutiny.
I mean, it kind of called scrutiny, but
right.
I don't know. I would in a heartbeat. I'd at least get my family somewhere comfortable and safe. If I had the means, I can't blame him for that part of it.
Yeah.
He should have put a coat on and put his happy ass to work and gone out there and been a decent.
I think there were other lawmakers that were there, like handing out water, etc.
Yeah, but I would have flown I'd fly my family anywhere in a heartbeat. Be like, hey, yeah, get on the I don't know. I'd be curious what the average senator, because they fly all the time. That was why that freaking Black Hawk accident was such a big deal. Because
you went in D.C.
Yeah. Because every senator and congressperson that goes home to their constituents flies out of that airport all the time. And I don't know. I haven't asked anybody. I'm sure some of them fly better than others. But I'm sure a lot of them just at least fly commercial. Maybe they're at least business class or first class. They're paying extra for the comfort, but they're still probably flying commercial. I wouldn't think most of them have access to a private jet, or even just for politics' sake, don't take a private jet, even if they have access. I know if I were like Tulsi Gabbard when she was in Hawaii, I'd be like, if I got access in the funds, I'm taking a private jet.
Right.
I got to be on a plane for 12 hours. You could suck it. I'm going to fly the most comfortable way I could figure out how. And Hawaii's paying for it. No, maybe I probably wouldn't say that. You're right. That's a lot. I mean, that's a long flight. Because it's 6 hours from California.
Is it? I thought it'd be a little bit further.
Because when we flew out there years back when my brother was living out there, my brother was stationed at Pearl Harbor, it was here. Flew here to Chicago to San Francisco, and San Francisco there.
And San Francisco leg is about 6 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like Chicago to San Francisco was big plane. Like that was a 777 I think we were on. Had a spiral staircase and everything. Like that's the first time I've been on that big, the one that has the second level in the front.
Right.
Yeah, and that was like 3 hours, 4 hours. It's like an hour and some change from here to Chicago.
Right.
So yeah, it was like a 12-hour flight, the 14-hour flight total, I mean, combined flight time. It's a long day. And it timed well. Like we had enough layover to get to the gate. I think we had enough layover in Chicago to go outside, smoke a cigarette, and go right back in, go through security, and get into get to the next leg. We didn't have enough time in San Francisco. It was plane A to plane B, and like 15 minutes maybe at the gate tops waiting. And then we were on the plane for the second leg. That was a long flight. Anyway, yeah, all 5 new city councilors are officially city councilors. All 5 old ones are out. I got 2 emails from the parting councilors saying, I'm no longer a councilor. This email, my name at Knoxville.gov or whatever, is no longer a functional email. If you need to get a hold of me, here's an email. If you need to get a hold of the office, here's the new guy.
Right. That's cool.
And there you go. And so kudos to that. So now we have the task of spending the next 2 years getting Lauren on board with running for mayor. Or we could swing real hard and see if she'll run for county mayor. We got time for that one. She ain't winning a county mayor's race.
Probably not.
She should still do it, though. That'd be interesting. Maybe, yeah, we need to get it. Yeah, she needs to do it just for the sake of... there's the Headlights podcast a couple weeks ago. There's a group in North Carolina called the We Can't Win Victory Fund. And it's like a fundraising pack for campaigns for state and federal congressional seats that are so dominated that for most of these seats it's Democrats have no chance of winning. It's very similar to what we got going on here in Tennessee. They would be the type to help fund Gloria Johnson's senatorial campaign against Marsha Blackburn a couple of years ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Gloria ain't winning that race. But you can have some substantial impact by having a strong, vocal, visible candidate run a losing campaign. You
introduce issues. Right.
It gets issues on the table that it forces the more strengthened party in the system in whatever the particular area is. It forces them to address some issues that maybe they've been ignoring intentionally because they've never had to answer the question because there's never been enough fuss over that question.
Right.
And so that's the whole premise. Like, that's the whole premise of this thing that this group in North Carolina has put together, and they've done some pretty cool work. It's kind of neat. Like, I kind of like it. I'd like to see one of those get built here in Tennessee to try to run, like against Lafferty, somebody against Lafferty in his seat. Somebody stronger than Jane George against Burchett for the federal seat, House seat 2. Like, Jane George was I like Jane George. I think she's a great person. She's kind of neat and interesting and fun, but she is too. Well, maybe she'd be perfect for it. I don't know. She is every campaign she's run so far that I've paid attention to. That is her intent. She's just I'm running to shine a light on some issue, knowing I can't win the seat. I mean, she started off, I can't remember what, she did some stuff before, but we first met her when she was running against Becky Massey in State Senate 6. And then, what else did she run for? I'm trying to remember. She ran for a commission seat, and then I think it was a commission seat, and then she started to run against, she filed paperwork and started a campaign against Blackburn for Senate. And then when Gloria got in, she backed out. And then Jane George was also in District 4 City Council race. I think it was District 4. She was in one of the District 5. She was in one of the City Council races and dropped out after the petition pickup, or after the deadline to drop out. So she was actually on the ballot for the primary, even though she'd stopped trying to run.
Okay.
So she's run like 5 or 6 campaigns. I've never quite understood what her intent was, other than to run and make a fuss. But I never, there was no particulars of the fuss. You know what I'm saying? Like, she never had, I don't recall a single issue that was her point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to run this, protest campaign because we need to draw attention to.
Right.
I don't remember any of the whatevers. It also doesn't help that half the time she'd never get a debate or any stage time or anything. And that's one of the things that the Republicans locally don't ever seem to want to do and get away with. They just don't bother running for or doing whatevers. I do want to talk. I do. I really
send
do.
Flyers.
I need to run. I want to run I want to put a Republican primary Knox County mayor debate. I want to host a Knox County Republican primary mayoral forum. With the three we have right now, we'll see if we get another 1 or 2 that pop in for the Republican primary. But just the 3 of them on the stage. It is a debate, not a forum. I'll figure out the line of questioning when we get there. But presidential TV style debate, get some moderators to go in and actually do this with some structure for them, because I doubt it. I doubt anybody's going to do a real one because like the forums, I don't know. I don't know if there's a functionally like I don't know what the actual like semantical difference in the two is. Like a forum and a debate, like the forums, just like the impersonalness of them, or not the impersonalness. I don't know. They're just real meh.
I think you probably have less back and forth
In the forums?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't seem to. Like, I mean, because the couple that I've been to or seen or been a part of always seem to be like, it's just like, well, how do you feel about this? And it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then how do you feel about this? Blah, blah, blah. And then like, but it's also, there's so little participation that they always end up overbooking them. That's what, like, the problem that I've been with all of mine is like, it is a county commission forum. And it's like, well, I'm in District 4 in County Commission. It's not really important for me to sit through what District 2 thinks on a topic. But if we have 5 seats and at least 2 candidates for each seat and they're all up there on the stage, well, by the time it gets to my guy, you're giving him a minute. Or her. You're giving them a minute so they don't have time to react to what other people have said. They just got to do a quick blurb and move on. And it's like, I would like something that it's a little more time. So like, hey, you got a couple minutes. Tell me what you're going to like. I mean, it would be, hey, let's talk about taxes. I think I would maybe even do, maybe that's it. That's it. I'm going to do a Knox County Mayor's debate exclusively on budget and taxes. No other topics will be touched.
We're not talking about land use.
We're not talking about land use. We're not talking about schools. We're not talking about infrastructure. We're talking about budgets. And we're talking about taxes. And then get a couple of good, smart people that actually know what they're talking about to actually host it. And some real-time fact checkers, like a small group of people that are real-time fact checking. I don't know how we do it. Like, I don't know if the information is available quickly and easily enough on the interwebs where if Larson says, you know, we're spending X number of $1 million a year on this that we should be spending over here. If we have a real-time fact checker that could be like, are we spending that much on that thing? I mean, I could see if Chris Caldwell would sit there. That'd be a weird thing to ask him, though.
All right.
So
I didn't bring all my books with me,
and you want me to you want me to audit my potential new boss's public statements in real time.
You gonna do me like that, man?
So that if they misspeak or straight lie, and you call them out on it, they know that's coming from me. I'll pass on helping you with this. Sorry, I don't. And Chris, I don't blame you for not. I get it.
Well,
so
the numbers speak for themselves. I just need somebody that can find the answer on the spreadsheet quicker than I can.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, that like I don't know that anybody could quicker than, you know, like I mean that's what he does. He is the head of budget and finance for Knox County, and he would be the one to have those answers. But either way, like I don't need like real time fact checking wouldn't be that important. It'd be like because if we do a good job and get it out there and put it on YouTube or whatever. You know, the people that want to fact check it can fact check it and come back. And it's like, look, you know, we didn't have the means to do that in real time, but now you know that Larson was telling the truth on that, or Kim was being a little bit, you know.
Yeah, not too many people are going to do a follow-up. They're going to take those initial statements.
No, I agree. But I mean, normal people probably wouldn't do it, but I think the handful of actual, you know, politics and government reporters that we have in the local news, they'll do it.
Possibly.
You know, be like, hey, at Seth's debate, you said this, and this is the real number over here. Would you like to update that for us? And you know, it's like, oh well, you know, fine. I missed the decimal point. Relax. You know, like you can. It's touchable at least. You know, like something that actually like we can get an actual like, you know. Things that this body actually does, things that are under the purview of the mayor's office, budget and taxes, and the 3 people that, so far at least, that are running for this primary, who are most likely to then become the mayor when they win their primary, I think it's worth getting them on the record on some of this stuff. Like Betsy's already on the record, she will not raise taxes. And it's like, okay, Betsy, you said you will not raise taxes. This is the expectation in next year's budget. how do you plan on paying for these things without raising taxes? Let her spell it out. And then when she spells it out and Larson and Kim are standing next to her, and Larson and Kim, who have also looked over these budgets and are trying to figure out how to do this likely without raising taxes, but probably realizing that we might have to raise them a little bit or whatever, could say, okay, I hear what you're saying, Betsy, except the truth is this is how much this is going to cost next year, and this is how much this is going to cost next year. And without subtracting something from over here or over there, we're going to have to raise taxes to pay for it.
Right.
It'll give the I'm going to raise taxes people at least a chance to defeat or to directly address the I'm not going to raise taxes argument. Because I could do it all day. I could have Larson come in here and be like, Larson, explain to me why you think we need to raise the sales tax. And he could explain it to me all day. And I can put it out in front of as many people who are willing to listen to us all day. But until I think it would be much more apparent when that dichotomy is right next to each other of both of them talking about it back and forth. Because then we could have some real debate on, but if you do that, then this has to happen. Yeah, but if that happens, then we can do this instead. And then it can, hell, like my argument for why this show is so important to me in my mindset is like I work most of my ideas out in real time while we're talking about them.
Right.
I can sit and formulate and think about stuff for a while, but until I say it out loud and go back and forth with you or somebody else talking about stuff, I don't really know what I'm thinking on a topic. Like I know thoughts on it, but I don't know like how I actually feel about a topic. Like there's no amount of inward that I can do that gets me to a more concrete vision of what I like my take on X.
You can't argue with yourself in your head.
Yeah, because I miss stuff. Like I have my own blind spots. It's like it's normal. It's normal human being stuff. It's not a complaint or anything. But I think it's something that we as the public need to get better at. But it's also something that our politicians need to get better at, is being willing to kind of work out loud through ideas. And then when we catch ourselves going, man, my first take on that was not very good. But going back to our Trump joke at the beginning. It's like my first take on this Rob Reiner thing was not very good. Maybe what I should have said was something more like this. And then, so it needs to go, but that needs to go both ways. A, Trump needs to be an adult enough to say that, but B, we need to be decent human beings and accept it. And until that happens, then there's no reason for them to apologize or correct the record. If changing, like, because I mean, there is some value to the argument that, like one of the things, like, some of the complaints on Biden where he was wishy-washy or flip-floppy or whatever. That's one of those things. Like through his career, he's flip-flop on this issue like 15 times because that was more popular this time he was getting elected or whatever.
Right.
Like there is a fine line somewhere in there, and I don't know what that is. Like if you're flip-floppy and if it's clear that you're flip-floppy and you're switching stances on a certain thing because it's a politically advantageous thing to do, then yeah, that I think that's gross. But if you change your mind on something, because new
information's come to light,
right? Because new information comes in, you have a better understanding of it, and maybe to some level, the culture of our nation has changed a little bit,
right?
I think that's where pot is right now. Like I think the general stance on marijuana went from it's this ridiculous evil to who cares? And where my early political career, because I thought so, and that's what I thought my public felt about it, I was against pot. But now I'm getting the feeling when I talk to people and it becomes a topic or whatever, most people don't think it's that big a deal, and I don't need to fight that anymore. I guess I admitted in that I'm only changing my mind because I think that's what you want to hear, and that's not the best. Right. But you could work on that. You can workshop how to word that makes it a little bit more like, it was never particularly important to me.
But I couldn't be anti the war on drugs when,
I don't know.
It was coming down from the federal level.
You could say it wasn't important to me, but it was important to my constituents, so I was standing up for my constituents.
Yeah.
It's still not important to me, and my constituents don't think it's important anymore, so I'm more open to the conversation. I'm not changing. I didn't change my stance on it. I just kind of changed how much I put effort into my stance on it. I guess. I don't know. You could work on it. It's somewhere in the middle there. But I don't know. Like I think that's something that needs to be more normal. I think we need to be able to work things out as audibly with each other, understanding that we don't know exactly where we're at until we work through it.
That's why we have commissions.
Yeah, but
where you hope that's happening.
It's all so damn performed. But they're not allowed to talk to each other except with an audience, and that gets weird. in an audience
Could they not have a separate
following
meeting together?
the Roberts rules. Do what?
Could they not have a separate meeting together?
I mean, they have to announce it and stuff like that. Like in theory, like they could do.
Does it have to be open to the public?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for county commission, they do what they call the agenda review meeting, which is literally just it's a fixed standard time and place that they're going to hold a public, that they're going to talk about a thing in public. So when they do the agenda review meeting, they don't have the Roberts rules. They don't have a public forum requirement. It's literally just them on the stage, like a county commission meeting, just talking to each other. And there may or may not be an audience there. So they are allowed to talk to each other, but it's still got to be like, I don't know. Like, and if they do a one-on-one meeting, they have to do it publicly and announce it and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know. Like, they work around it anyway.
Yeah.
My favorite that I have heard about is, let's say, so hypothetically, because I've talked to Shane Jackson a few times, but I wouldn't say like I'm a useful person to him. But like Shane Jackson, let's say maybe one of the Democratic operatives, I'm trying to remember his name, that runs around. He helps run campaigns for a bunch of the Democrats in town and stuff like that. Jack Vaughn. So Jack Vaughn, let's say Larson is working on a thing, and he's trying to figure out who in the commission's on board with it, has some support with it. He could call Jack Vaughn, be like, "Hey Jack, find out where Shane's at on this. Tell him I'm thinking about doing something like this." And then Jack can call Shane and ask Shane the question, get the answer, and then report it to Larson in return.
Right.
This is completely hypothetical, people. I'm not throwing Jack under the bus because this is a true story. I don't know if Jack has been a party to this little middle around thing, but this thing does happen in county and city government. I know that for a fact. But this is a hypothetical. I don't have any proof of any sort that Jack and Shane and Larson J have done any sort of version of this. I don't know where it's legal as far as I understand it, but my point is, to the audience, I am not accusing or implying that this particular situation has happened. This is a hypothetical to explain this real thing that does happen between where county commissioners work around ways to talk to each other.
Couldn't they do the same with like their assistants, basically?
They don't have assistants.
No.
The commission has an assistant, and there's like a commission secretary that takes all their phone calls and but it's a secretary to the commission, not to the commissioner.
Gotcha. I would have thought they may have their own PAs.
I would think most of them. I would think, and to re-throw Jack under the bus in this hypothetical, I would assume Jack is one of the people that is a middle person in some of this stuff, because he is an operative inside the game that is Knox County politics, city of Knoxville politics.
Right.
I would not be a good person to do this, because you would have to ask me to be off the record all the time, and I'm not going to say yes to that all the time. If Lauren Ryder called me and said, "Hey, will you call Tommy and ask him what he's doing with this?" I'd be like, "Sure." And then I'd call Tommy, and then Tommy would tell me what, and I'd call Lauren back or whatever, and I'd play my little role in the thing, and then I'd come on the show and be like, "Hey, just so everybody knows, Lauren called me this week because her and Tommy are working on this thing." Because it's whatever the thing is that they're trying to work on might be something interesting just to talk about on the show, and I have inside info because I talked to at least 2 of the city councilors on the topic.
Right.
Again, hypothetical, didn't actually happen, because I would be a bad version of that thing happening. So, more to the real point of it is that does happen, though. Not again. I'm not accusing any particular individual of anything. All of my stories here are hypothetical, other than the functional idea of what I explained does actually happen. Yeah. And I don't know, I don't know, that seems worse than them just sitting down and having coffee together.
Maybe they could have a meeting in a room that has a particular like fire code. They're like, we don't need 5 more people in here, so it's open to the public, but
that's what I'm saying.
Limited seating.
Like I could get behind the premise. Like I don't know though, because like some of these things get complicated, and I don't know. Like I get the baseline of Sunshine Law, and I'm not opposed to it staying in place, but at the same time, it's like it just seems a little bit overkill for them not to be able to talk to each other. Like, at least make it like recordable. Like, okay, if you're going to have a direct phone call, you need to record it. But I guess if you allow the beginnings of it, then it's just a checklist of what not to do when you're starting to do the dirty version of it. You know? Well, we're allowed to call each other. Well, where's the recording? Oh, it's right here. And then we talked for 15 minutes, and then I hit record, and then we talked for 10 more. The first 15, we talked about the real shit. The other 10, we just shot the breeze. Right. But actually, the other part, too, is like by law, they're allowed to talk to each other. Like, I always make the jokes like it's because it's just being derpy. Courtney Durrett's husband helped Larson build his car for the Soapbox Derby this year. And so Courtney ended up coming with her husband to the driver's meeting because he was the chief mechanic for the team and wanted to make sure his car was legit. But then Larson shows up too because it's his car. And so I have Courtney and Larson in the same room together, and they didn't announce it. But none of the conversation that took place in the room was county business.
Right.
So they're allowed to talk to each other as long as it's not about county business.
Derby business.
Right. And so, they've already got there's already a big hole in the door that they can sneak through. Like, yeah, me and Larson, me and Sam had lunch yesterday. Yes, we're both county commissioners, but we were just having lunch. We were talking about, we were reminiscing on the old days when we used to do a podcast.
Right.
And would this count legally? Like if we were doing if we were both commissioners and this was commission business, but we're putting this out to the public? No, it would not. It has to be real time open to the public. Which also seems kind of funky because it's like, okay, hey, we're going to be down at the coffee shop on Tuesday. Sam and I are going to be down at the coffee shop on Tuesday. We got some county business to talk about. You're welcome to come watch. But like we're under no obligation.
We're not taking questions.
Right. We're not taking questions. Like, what do you get? Like, realistically, like, you're just going to pull up a chair and sit at the table with us? Like, is that how that's supposed to work?
Yeah, but it gives an avenue for interested parties.
Just to sit and watch. It's just, I don't know. I mean, when and if I get on commission or I'm the mayor or whatever, I'm going to do that all the time. I'm just like, hey, I'm doing a thing. I'm meeting up with some people to talk at this cool local business and just try to help out and get some people some traffic to their business.
Right.
Be like sitting there, me and you, like me and you were commissioners. We're sitting at some place. We're talking, and just kind of pause in the middle of our conversation. Like, hey, did everybody go get a coffee yet? No. If you're not going to get a coffee, don't be rude. Go buy a coffee.
No loitering.
Yeah, don't loiter. Be a patron. Like, I'm weird about it. Like, I can't go to this. If I stop at the gas station on a road trip to use the bathroom, I'm buying something.
Yeah, I don't necessarily do that.
Like, I feel pretty obligated to buy something. Usually something to fill me back up so I have to pee again at the next possible time. But,
right.
I don't know. I just feel like I feel obliged to pick up something. It just feels rude to me just to be like, hey, I just blew up your bathroom that you're going to have to go clean. Thanks. Deuces.
Yeah, I don't feel that as much.
Well, you're a bad person.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I just needed them for their facilities.
Yeah.
There wasn't a rest area nearby. Now, do you do the same with the rest areas?
No.
Are you supporting the state and going to their overpriced vending machines?
No, but I mean, I throughout the totality of my, of most of my travels, I do spend money in those states where they collect a sales tax from me, which those sales taxes go to pay for those facilities.
Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact in the Carolinas or in Georgia. I don't know.
I would assume
what their tax structure is and how they break up their budget, but whatever the state income is, because it's usually like it's TDOT that runs all the rest areas in Tennessee. TDOT is an entity of the state of Tennessee. The totality of the state of Tennessee's budget comes from sales tax. So,
right.
I've certainly put in my fair share. I you know what? Doubly so because I do labor on behalf of the state of Tennessee and don't get paid.
Touche.
Like that, I've told you that thing, right? And why that bothers me.
Refresh me.
So I'm obliged by law to collect taxes from you, the customer, hold them, then file paperwork about all those taxes that I collected from you, and then send those taxes to the state of Tennessee. It sounds like a job. And for some businesses, there's a person that does that, and that's almost their entire job.
Right.
To be fair, the state of Tennessee Department of Revenue online system is pretty good. It's pretty easy to navigate. It's pretty easy to fill in the paperwork. But it's still paperwork. It still takes me a couple hours to do the paperwork on it. I'm not getting paid for those hours. Anywhere else, I'm not getting paid because I'm an owner, but if I had an employee doing it for me, I'd be paying that employee to do that. The state's not giving me a discount. I don't get to bill the state for my employee hours spent on collecting their taxes.
All right.
Like, it just seems it seems a little weird to me that it's the same thing that the IRS does to all of us as individuals. You pay the taxes. Like, we took them from you all year because your payroll company did it because we told them they had to. But it's still your job to make sure to send us the correct paperwork, even though we already know the right answers. Which I don't know. I doubt the state of Tennessee knows the right answers on my sales tax data collection. They don't have the means to get that information. Your income tax, they do. Like, the IRS has the means. Any payroll, any company that does payroll, at least for the W-2 tax person, when a payroll company cuts you a check and does that, and you got your Medicare and unemployment insurance and all the deductions from your check that go over in that one column.
Right.
A copy of that gets sent to the IRS every time they print it off for you.
Yeah.
And actually, the copy of that gets sent to the IRS with the employee match version of all those things too. So the IRS knows exactly how much exactly how much you have already paid in income tax based on all the documentation they already have. Now, have they compiled that into a thing? I don't know. But I still resent the fact that I spend a significant sum of money and a significant sum of time on collecting taxes on behalf of the state of Tennessee.
The perils of doing business.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. To be fair, I'm dorky in the way that I somewhat enjoy some of it, but I also think that there's for normies out there that don't like I will build a spreadsheet because I'm bored. I love building spreadsheets. I love playing with numbers in Excel and stuff like that. But for some normie out there with a candle making business, you didn't get into business to sit and do paperwork on behalf of the government. You got into business to make and sell candles.
Right.
This is it's the price you got to pay to get into business. It's that seems like kind of shitty outlook, but okay. I understand that there's a logistical fundamental core problem here is it's got to get done. Right. I don't know how else to do it. Because certainly the next level theory would be, well, then the state's going to have to send out an auditor to go to every business once a month and go through all their sales receipts and get the correct paperwork together. And that would still take just as much of that business owner's time in sitting down with a state auditor on the regular.
And paying multiple auditors to go and do that.
Right, all over the state. And therefore having to raise taxes because it would be a workforce of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people throughout the state.
Be lucky to break even on it.
Yeah. And so I get it, but it's still, I don't know, I'm hateful that way. I just want to be hateful about stuff, okay, man?
Don't be so hateful.
Merry Christmas. That's what it's going on. It's Merry Christmas time. Yeah. Did the Preds end up holding on the win?
Yep.
Nice.
Back-to-back wins.
I know. I thought about I made a joke to the kid. I was like, you want to stay here and just go down, stay in the parking spot, go over here on Broadway, grab some barbecue or something like that, and then go into Bridgestone for a hockey game? He's like, no, I'm not really into hockey. And it's like, I know, but it'd still be a crazy weekend. So for the backstory here, the reason we're taping late is because I got tickets to the Taylor Swift game today, which I may or may not have her in a picture with me. So we ended up going to camp and we went hunting for the weekend and then went to the game today and then came home. So we were in Nashville for the Titans whooping last year's AFC champion Chiefs.
Really?
Got the whooping on.
They didn't have old Patrick.
23-9 or something like that. Yeah, and the Garner Minshew, his backup.
Bless you.
Huh?
Bless you.
His the backup quarterback for the Chiefs went out in the first half with a knee injury, and so their new second string played most of the game, and so there was not a good. The Chiefs look like crap. They're in trouble.
So like two major quarterbacks tore their ACL recently.
Yeah,
some team brought back a 44 or 45-year-old or something.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't a name I recognize.
The Colts brought Phillip Rivers back from the graveyard at 43 to play some ball. My Packers are in trouble. Mr. Jordan Love got concussed in the Bears game on Saturday, and then his backup, Willis Malik, I believe, who was actually a Titans backup in preseason, and Packers ended up picking him up. It's a whole big thing. Anyway, he got his knee busted up, and so he may not be eligible. He's on the injury list, and so we don't know. I don't know if Jordan Love's coming back next week. My Packers are struggling to finish the season off. Need a win. My favorite stupid stat that I've seen all season was the Packers won the Super Bowl the year that Brett Favre turned 29. The Packers won the Super Bowl the year that Aaron Rodgers turned 29. Jordan Love turned 29 this year. It's time for the Packers to win a Super Bowl. So
it's possible.
Let's get down to business here. I'm ready for. I'm ready. It's been about a dozen years. It's time for another Packers Super Bowl. But yeah, it was good. It was a good, fun weekend. It's crazy. It's long. I'm tired. The campers
stay in the RV.
Yeah, the RVs having problems. One, just it has no heat of its own. We plug in heaters or whatever. The electrical's having some weird issue all of a sudden, and so
the heater's broken. Thought it ran on the propane tank or whatever.
It does. We don't have propane.
Nah.
Because we don't move it. It just sits in the spot, and so we did figure out there is a way to take standard gas station propane tanks, and there's a valve thing you can put on it to fill up the propane tank that's in the camper.
Right.
But it would take 4 of those to fill up the camper one.
Hmm.
And it would be driving back and forth, or go buy 4 of them, bring them in, hook them up, and then we have 4 empty tanks.
So have a valve you can take it to U-Haul and be like, hey, fill this thing up.
No, you can't take the tank out of it.
Right, but I don't know if there's a valve to where you could go to a fill station.
Yeah, no, we could take the camper. We have to take the camper to it.
Right, yeah.
And it just doesn't move anymore. It does, but it doesn't. It moves twice a year. Apparently, there's some the agreement that the marina campground has with the TVA is nothing can stay there all year.
Right.
And so once a year, everybody that has a camper there moves them to the other side of the property for a week, and then moves them all back to their spots. Everybody has their spots. And that's how the campground works. And so once a year, Max goes out there, moves it, and then a couple weeks later goes and moves back.
Yeah.
But it hasn't left the camp. It hasn't left the campsite in 3 years now.
Damn.
And whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's just it's just funny. It was more funny than anything. It's all the lights quit working. Something in the circuit where all the lights are on is messed up. I don't know if maybe an animal chewed through something or what. And so we're just sitting in the dark. The only light we had inside was the TV. We just turned the TV on. And I tried to watch Shaun of the Dead with the kid, and he didn't watch it. He fell asleep. It's a great movie. Speaking of kids, I'm about to have a kid fight. It looks like somebody stole the Oculus.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. It's just one of those, like, it's so
throw
weird.
hands.
It's just so weird. It's like it's not been a thing, and so the younger one has gotten used to the idea that he gets to use it whenever he wants. And it's a shared toy. It was bought for Christmas for them as a shared toy, because those things aren't fucking cheap.
Nope.
But the older one just kind of gave up on it. He just didn't want to play it. He hasn't played it in... He doesn't play for months. And then all of a sudden, he's decided he really wants to start playing again. So the younger one that got used to doing whatever he wanted to and now has to share, and he doesn't like to share. So it's become a thing.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, but it goes both ways.
That's true. And like you said, it's a joint gift.
Right. But they don't talk to each other if they don't have to. It's a whole big thing. So that also being said is the younger one had it all weekend with no interruptions because we were gone.
Right.
So anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll throw hands one of these days. It'll happen eventually. It's going to happen. So the fight will go down. I'm surprised the older one's awake. I figured he'd go to bed already.
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got in his room and he turned if he took it in his room with him and fell asleep with it, that's extra rude. And so I might actually go check on that here in a second.
That's true.
I am gonna go check on my children, people. 1 sec. All right, they made it. No death, no murders. Although the younger one's really angry because the older one played it until it died and didn't bring it down and plug it back in. So now it's dead. So even though he's not using it, the other one can't play with it.
Can you play it while it's starting?
You can, but the cables, like the charging cable is either too short or the one that we got that's long enough is really heavy.
Yeah.
And so it's uncomfortable. Fucking kids these days. Man, no shit like that.
Back in our day.
That's right. Back in my day.
You didn't have wireless controllers.
I know. That's the funniest thing in the totality of it to me.
You had to sit 5 feet from the TV to play.
Right. The funniest thing to me in the totality of it is the controllers in the new Oculus or in all the Oculuses are just regular AA batteries. The headsets run on like it's some sort of lithium whatever, and you plug it in and charge it and all that kind of stuff. But the controllers are not. And I find that interesting. Why wouldn't you just put because you're not saving weight. It's like, well, we didn't want to put a charging mechanism in there because the charging mechanism adds weight. And we wanted to keep them light. It's like, well, you're didn't put a smaller battery in it. I don't know. It just seems like a gimme to me. Because don't they make, and I need to go buy some of those. Have you seen those? They're AA and AAA batteries. It's a AA battery that just has a little USB-C in it.
I don't think I have.
And so it's just it's a completely single AA battery. You just plug it in to charge it. But it goes right into the side of the battery. It doesn't have to go into a separate charger.
It's the new version of rechargeable batteries.
Yeah. Which, it's smart because that's the big thing. I think that's the big hang up with most of the old school rechargeable batteries. I say that because I got one of these little slidey things on my desk that I use all the time. Which I gotta find some 18650 button tops. Haven't seen one of those in a hot minute. I was gonna get some from some of our vendors for the other one's birth or Christmas gift, and none of my vendors have them anymore. They were never popular in the industry, but everybody used to always have them. So now I need to go find a battery supplier. Or just go buy them. Go to the either the hobby shop or some place for AV dorks.
Anything like little batteries plus place or whatever.
Maybe. I've had problems. Like every time, a couple of times I've gone into those the battery specialty place. They don't have them. I can't remember what we were looking for. But it wasn't like a super rare bat. Like it was it was a battery pack for an exit sign was one of them. But then it was something else, and it just seemed like it was like, why don't you, what? Like it was a battery pack for like a little drone or remote control car or something like that. And it's like, well, we don't have that. It's like, well, like what do you have? Like car batteries and just batteries I can pick up anywhere else? Like I can go to Kroger and get these batteries? Like why am I
got a decent selection.
What do you have?
Last time I went in there.
I'm trying to figure out what they have that
They just can't have everything.
I know, but I don't know. I've never, whatever. I've not had good luck at it, but I'll try. Because like I mean, the batteries, like the button top 18650, it's a flashlight battery. Most flashlights, not most flashlights, it was like high end flashlights. At least old school high end flashlights used to use them.
Yeah.
Now almost everything's built in. Like it's hard to find an external battery. Like the last couple of flashlights I bought, they're all built in batteries. I'm thinking. Although I do somewhere have a headlamp that's got a single 18650. And that thing sucked because it was heavy. It's a heavy headlamp. It was bright.
Yeah, I think my headlamp tapes are AAAs. A couple flashlights I have, just take like a AA or AAA.
I didn't bring any. I brought one flashlight to camp.
Tisk.
I know, it was a problem. I have like 7 headlamps and well, the worst one is I left this one. My favorite one is it's this clip-on one, like it clips on the brim of your hat.
Right.
And I think it's still over there charging. Like I put on the charger before we left. I forgot to grab it off the charger before we left. That's my favorite one because it's little. It's super bright, but it's little. It's like a little it's probably like 4 inches wide, but like a 1/4 inch tall. Mm-hmm. But it's got this little clip thing that's like it slides. So if you can clip it, like it clips onto your hat, but you can like tilt it and it'll hold its place. But like I use it like a lot of times what I'll do with it, which is kind of gross. I pre-admit that what I'm about to say is gross. Is I'll pull the little clip out, like I'll flatten the little clip out and I can hold it in my mouth. And it's just kind of points straight out of my mouth.
Right.
And so then like, especially like I'm crawling under a sink or something like that and I'm trying to use my hands and I don't want something in my hands and a hat is too big and too much going on. And so it's like, it's just a perfect little whatever I can. And then that or the clip will then, I can close the clip onto the strut of my blind and so it becomes like a installed light when I'm in the blind.
Yeah.
Which is handy as well. It was cold the Saturday morning.
Really? That was supposed to be kind of mild.
It got to like 29 overnight out there, both nights. Kind of wussed out. Didn't go out this morning. Kind of glad I didn't. In hindsight, kind of wish I did. Kind of glad I didn't. It was back and forth. I just didn't want to get out of it. Like it was cold and I didn't want to get up. He didn't want to get up. I was like, it's fine. I'm going to go out. And he's like, okay. And I just was like, never mind. Roll back over. But it was cold Saturday morning. Like I don't know. Well, actually, no, I don't know. It was just cold. Whatever. It was fun. It's a good time. Hopefully he enjoyed it. We'll see if he wants to do it again. Because I really want him to go through and do his hunter safety course, get his license, and then we can do youth hunt. And that's before everything.
Oh, is it?
Youth hunt's in like September. And so we can go out in September and do a youth hunt before anybody's out there yet.
It's before archery and everything?
Yeah. So get him a young sportsman, and we can go out there.
What's the age limit on it for youth?
I think it's 18.
Is it? Okay.
Or 17. Man, these plants in here are starting to piss me off. Anyway, I don't know. Anything else on your radar that we haven't talked about yet? It's the holiday season. The news gets weird. Have you seen some of these? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can't think of anything too crazy.
Have you seen some of these interviews with Erica Kirk?
Some clips, yeah.
She looks a little crazy-eyed to me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's eyeliner or if it's just like, God, she has really like light blue eyes, so I don't know if that's part of it.
I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt that she's a grieving widow or whatever, but like there's a couple of them that I'm like, she kind of looks like a little like, that's kind of scary looking.
Yeah,
also,
I don't know if it's just the heavy makeup that kind of throws it off.
And I also don't know if I'm taking this the wrong way, but it all like is she trying to take his place? Like, is she trying to fill the gap that
I think
he's leaving
she got
behind?
voted in as head of TPUSA.
But I mean, I don't know. Turning like it's a business, yes, and Charlie was the face and the brains. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Jerry Jones is the owner and general manager of the Cowboys. He's one of very few owners that are also general managers of their teams. Most NFL teams, the owner hires a general manager to handle all that stuff.
Right.
That's not abnormal. And so in the analogy I'm putting together, Charlie was a Jerry Jones. Erica doesn't have to be if she doesn't want to be. It feels a little weird to me, though.
I don't know if it just kind of held off any kind of like infighting and power vacuum.
Again, like
just
I could
kinda
get
like,
behind
well-
the idea of the leadership part. Like, there's like, if something were to happen to me, I would like my wife to step up and replace me to keep the income for the family and stuff like that, and take over my role in the business if that's what needs to happen to save income and make sure she and the kids are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that, but I don't get I'm going to go out there and be the public face while mourning the death of my husband.
Right.
Like, it just seems that, and then you have this crazy eye thing, and so like I'm a little freaked out by this Eric Kirk thing and this closed door meeting with Candace.
Yeah, so
Which I don't really understand. I mean, it's this weird, like to me, what it is like it's this weird. It's an admission at some level that there is some coordination between these competing entities. Like they're competing, but they're also colluding a little bit. Like there is a unifying direction that they're trying to go as multiple entities. And Candace and Charlie had some sort of working relationship when they were both working. I think Tucker gets into the mix too. And it's like the alt. I don't like to call it alt-right media, but that's the best word I can come up with at the time. This alt-right media sphere has some amount of at least awareness that they need to sort of work together, even though they're competing with each other.
yeah, so apparently they just had like a TP USA like conference or shindig, but there was even like some like back and forth going on there. Like I think like Ben Shapiro and like Tucker got up and were like both talking smack about each other.
Yeah.
So there's like infighting amongst. Which seems kind of odd to like have this big.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like having
TP
the big like Republican National Convention and having people like argue against.
That's what they
each
used
other.
to be, though. Like the RNC used to be, the DNC used to be. Like it used to be a pretty raucous. Like we're fighting out how trying to figure out how we're going to move forward as a group.
Huh. Okay.
That was how the conferences were. Like apparently, like and then they still do it at some level, but like apparently, like some of it's like they go and they have subcommittees that go and break out and figure out what the party's stance is going to be on this issue.
All right.
And then they bring it to the whole body at the end, and they, as a group, say, okay, this group of people that you guys elected, all these, what do they call them? People that get elected to go to them or get selected.
Delegates?
All these delegates, you guys chose these delegates to go and come out with our official stance on this issue. Here's our official stance on this issue. And as a party, this is where we're going with it. And whether you agree with that or not, this is where we're going with it as a party.
Yeah.
And there used to be pretty raucous debates on stuff, like on trying to figure out different issues. And that used to be part of the public part of what we would get to see as the public from them. Like, okay, because like it kind of makes sense that we get to know what we stand for, and it's important to know that it's a unified issue or it's a little bit of a contentious issue. Because especially, depending on what it is and then where the other party stands on that same issue, it can help you understand. It's like, it's super important to everybody that this issue gets through. This issue was not unified, but it's still an issue, and this is part of our official platform. Well, if the other guy is like if it's a middle ground issue to them too, then it's not that important. But if it's a super strong issue to them and it's a weak issue to you, it changes the way you want to approach the topic. Because it could be a place where you have some space to win some votes. Because, like, I'm trying to think of one, like, I don't know of one specific example, but like abortion is an issue, right? So, like, the different sub-factions inside the DNC are arguing about where do we want to be on abortion. Because I think it's one of the things that the DNC, that the Democrats have screwed up on, is going, like, extremely, like, up until 30 seconds before birth or whatever, all the different like extreme versions of it that kind of came out. And it's like, well, no, we're more here on this issue, where the Republicans are the complete opposite. So it's like, well, if we can be a little bit more reasonable on this issue, we can peel off voters that are not okay with their extreme version of the issue.
Yeah.
Which I think the Republicans could have done the reverse in the same issue, where they'd be like, yeah, we don't like it, but we like we're okay with the idea of the exceptions, and that gives a little bit of room in the middle. And that might peel off a few voters that are like, these guys are crazy.
Right.
And so, but we don't see that as much anymore. That's behind closed doors now. And we don't get the official platform, and especially how they got to the official platform. And I think that's the bigger part. It's how they got to the official platform. But to your point, I don't know, but this is, I don't know, like, what is TPUSA, though? Like, what is
That's what I was about to say. Like, I think they were more just kind of like arguing about, like, the direction of, like, kind of conservative movement, so to say.
Right. Because, I mean, like, because Tucker and Candace aren't part of TPUSA.
Right.
They've done work with them. They've been guests, and they've had...
They're just spokespeople for conservative views.
Right, and they've because they are on many issues, they are similar. They cross-pollinate with each other and stuff like that. But, and I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it's important. I think that's something that needs to happen more of. It's like, we're over here and we're conservatives. I think Eric is an example of it when we talked about him last week or whatever. It's like, as far as I could tell, at least, there is no local conglomeration. There is the old school, traditional Knox County Republican Party, the Buddy Burkharts of the world, and then there is the Eric Wader ultra conservative wing of the party here in Knox County, and that's it. And as far as I can tell, there's not really a lot of crossover even between them. Like, I think the old school Buddy Burkhart's ones, they don't like a lot of the Eric candidates, but they're winning primaries, and so they turn around and support them as a party. Where I don't know, I'd have to ask Eric, but I don't know that Eric and his machine, for lack of a better word, have supported a candidate that beat his candidate in a primary. I don't know that they said, you know what, it's still important that it's still more important that this person wins than the Democrat.
Right.
So we're going to shift our support to them. I think, to be fair to Eric in that, though, is there's no real need to. If anybody was voting for his candidate in the primary, they're sure is not going to go over and vote for a Democrat in the general. They're going to vote through the Republican anyway. Where some of the, quote, old-fashioned Republican Party here might actually cross over to the Democrats on the other side.
Think so?
Yeah. Because the old-fashioned Democrats are more centrist. And so, like, if I was a primary voter that was voting for the more centrist of them, because especially, like, theoretical example, if I go and vote in the Republican primary for Knox County Mayor coming up and Betsy ends up winning the primary, I'm not voting for Betsy in the general. Where anybody who votes for Betsy in the primary, if she ends up losing the primary, will vote for whoever the Republican that wins. Yeah. They're not going to turn around and go vote for a Democrat.
Right.
That's just, I mean, and I think that's, so I guess by default, Eric's a candidate of Eric's that loses in a primary will get the support of Eric's work because he's gotten voters activated. Unless, I guess the most likely negative outcome for the other Republican candidate would be that they just don't go out and vote in the general, or they skip that one in the general because, for our example, Betsy's not on it, so I'm not going to vote. Which I doubt. If you're gonna go to a private, like, I would bet in Knox County or city of Knoxville that the drop off, the number, obviously more people vote in the general than the primary, but the number of people that vote in the primary
that then don't go vote in the general,
I think that's got to be like 4 people.
Possibly.
And that's because of a scheduling error, or something like that. Like, if you're voting in a primary, you're voting in the general. Like, I couldn't imagine somebody voting in a primary. Like, I mean, maybe on the very obscure circumstance where they're so angry about who won the primary that they just can't bring them. I can't vote for the Democrat, but I cannot vote for this person.
Right.
So I guess I'm just going to skip that one. But that's got to be pretty rare.
It's probably just a handful.
Yeah. Like I said, 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only like 17 people that vote in the whole goddamn general election anyway, so There's only there's only 9 that voted in the primary and 12 in the whole damn thing. So 5 people drop off. That's a big number.
Sure.
That means 20 total people voted. Oh, so all right. So nothing popped off. I feel like I'm missing something that I did want to talk about. No,
I saw much else locally.
Yeah, I mean everything slows down right now. It's the holidays. Like school's out. Commission.
Speaking of schools, I think there was some kind of like state report card that came out of like top schools.
West High School got an A, and Bearden Middle School got a C. I know that much.
So Bearden High School got an A, Farragut got an A. Like I think all 3 Hardin Valleys were up there in A's or B's.
I don't understand. Like it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't like. I feel bad for the West or for the Bearden Middle School principals. Probably right now they're probably getting inundated with emails about what do you mean you got a C? What do we get a C? How do you get a C?
Yeah,
do better. Why aren't you doing better? Like I don't really understand what it's supposed to tell us, like as parents.
I don't know what all the parameters were.
Like so, I mean, again, old school, like what the grading system is supposed to be, it's average. Right? C is good enough if you want to put it the negative phrasing on it. Like it's average.
Right.
You're getting the right number. You're doing the required amount of things.
You're not excelling, but you're not failing.
Right. But again, like as a because one of the things that I don't understand about it is like growth is one of the factors. And it's like, okay, well,
as to like how they're managing growth, like you've grown, but you haven't.
Not growth of number of students, growth in the sense of like on
average grade value,
right? On your 7th grade class and your 6th graders, when they were 6th graders, they got this on the TCAP. When they were 7th graders, they get this on the TCAP. When they're 8th graders, they get this on the TCAP.
Okay.
And if that number goes up, your grade goes up. It's like, well, what happens when they were 6th graders and they were, top 10% in the state. 7th graders, they're still top 10% in the state. 8th graders, they're still top 10% in the state. There's not really room for them to grow in higher grade value.
Sure.
And so you don't get points on your school grade value because your scores didn't go up. Well, they didn't go up because they were already up. Do I get bonus points for having started with high grades? It's not a good initiative.
You would think they have some way of kind of like factoring that in. I don't know. That may just
this is the state of Tennessee we're
right.
talking about here. The State Board of Education, who decided it was a good idea to give individuals money to go then spend in private schools and put no oversight on it. Those people.
Sure.
I'm not sure I have a lot of faith that they thought again, it's the state of Tennessee we're talking about here who put a hemp law in place and worded it so poorly that a ragtag group of hemp lobbyists could get together and sue their way into staying in business. Like we don't write laws well in this state. They're not good at writing laws in a clean and enforceable manner. And so I assume it's a crappy. I assume that I would assume principals hate it. Teachers probably hate it because it doesn't tell anything. It's probably it probably has the same outlook from teachers and principals as a lot of teachers and principals feel about TCAPs. It doesn't really show anything of real value. Yes, we understand that you need to have some sort of metric and we need to have some sort of way of number valuing these things. And I guess if you're going to have to do it, this is the way to do it. But it doesn't really say anything because you could have really good students that are poor test takers or really good students who have really bad days on tests.
Right.
I mean, you make it out to be like it's a fucking end of the world, like your career, like your entire life's over as a student if you do bad on your TCAP. Like it's important. Like teachers spend half the year prepping kids for these things.
You're like, don't fuck me on this,
right? And it's like my paycheck matters. Like this can affect my paycheck. This can you make a big deal out of it, and it's like, well, what are we doing?
Right.
Like translate that into the real world for me. Like, what are we talking about? When do you ever have like some weird test in any life, like normal life thing?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I was reading about like Finnish schools that have standardized tests, but it all like the results pretty much just stay internally. I guess for their own kind of like self-assessment.
I mean, I get the idea. It goes back to that question I've asked 1,000 times, and you always look at me cross-eyed when I say it. It's like, does it matter? Does it really matter how my students, my children, compare to similar students in Memphis? Does that matter at all?
To an extent.
To the level that we need to build this giant, expensive apparatus to figure it out.
Is it a giant apparatus?
The TCAP things, I want to say it's a multi-billion-dollar contract.
Yeah.
With the company that creates it and administers it, or however I don't know exactly how they do the whole thing. It's not cheap. I mean, I think there's a couple of people whose full-time job in Nashville is to aggregate this data and pull it up and put it in, load it into it's probably part of the contract. But I'm sure we get copies of the data, and there's people in Nashville schools, the state school board or whatever, that goes through and looks at different things and pulls up information and like spends an entire year of working with the information and data that comes from it.
Right. So
I'm gonna guess it's a pretty penny annually, and to what end? Because it doesn't it compares my student to a student in Nashville or in Memphis or whatever, but it doesn't really. It compares a snapshot of them on one day of their career every year.
It's supposed to be able to assess quote unquote general knowledge or like general learning for that grade level.
Right. If they're good test takers, if,
right.
You know. And so it's like, you know, my kids could be like, my kids could have a bad test day and they could look stupid compared to their counterparts in Memphis, or, you know, the inverse, or nothing. Who knows?
I mean, I remember doing a decent bit of guessing. Well, not a decent bit, but at least some guessing. Or either it's due to like time
when did we take
crunch
them? We don't take them in high school. Do we take them in high school? I don't remember taking one.
Yeah, I think it was just middle school, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't here for middle school, so I didn't mess with that shenanigans. So, yeah.
I thought we took something our senior year, maybe.
I feel like
I don't think it was for like a grade, but I think it was just supposed to like kind of tell the school like how well you've done throughout the 4 years.
And that in and of itself is a problem, because incentives for the kids matter. It's like, so this doesn't matter? This isn't a grade? You know, how hard am I going to try?
Well, I think like Pellissippi and some of the community colleges do that. There's some kind of like exit exam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the
like again, kind of get.
I don't mind the premise for internal use. I don't mind the premise for like, okay, high school A does it internally. Like every high school in the state gets the same thing, and like, you know, just get some printed thing, and all the high schools do it across the state. And internally, they do that to compare. They can compare themselves to each other, but like not some centralized state thing. Because like in a way where it's like, you know, okay, I as the principal of school A, you know, look at this, and I look around and I talk to the other principals at the other schools, and this is what they were getting on that, and I'm like, hey, we really struggled in this particular subset. What are you guys doing in math that you guys perform so much higher than we did?
Right.
You know, as a way to look at like. As more of a collaborative premise than like a punitive premise, which is what I feel like the TCAPs kind of feel. That's what the TCAPs feel like to me. Like it's this weird punitive, like we're going to figure out who's screwing up, and we're going to, you know, fire teachers and fire principals and replace them and bring in state people to take
maybe
over.
It's a way to keep from having to give teachers raises. It's
right.
Like, maybe when you get your TCAP scores
that's what
up.
I'm saying. Like it's just that's what it feels like to me. Where like if it was, and maybe it's just poorly represented in public, and maybe this is really what does happen. It's like, you know, hey, West High School, you guys really struggled this year in this one. This school over here was struggling a few years ago, and they've started really picked it up. Maybe we could get you guys to have a little get together, and you could talk about some of the things that that this school's been doing to help you. Right. Maybe do these transitions. So it feels like it, like, and maybe they do, and we just don't talk about that part. But you know, like I said, it has always felt to me like this punitive thing that is overpressured on the kids. It means it's too important for the wrong reasons to the faculty and the administrations. It's too much pressure on the kids for something that's not really important to them. And the only people that really benefit from it are, I don't know. And I think that's where I've always been kind of stuck with the TCAPs. It never seemed like there's anybody that really gets a plus out of it. It's just a bunch of stressors on all the people that have to deal with it. And maybe some guy at the state level is like, look how great we did. Look how awesome our schools are doing. Even though...
I think it's mainly for administrators so they can show progress, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, let's get weird and call it a day. Nailed it. I still got my skills. I know where our buttons are.
Yay!
I don't know when the last time I've done it right is.
We got the last U.S. cent sold at auction for $16.76 million. We're worth a pretty penny.
I'm sorry. Say it again. The last cent minted?
Some of them, yeah. I think that's what it is.
So the last penny to get punched.
Not the last pennies. I guess like sets. I think that's what they were selling.
Oh. Full sets.
Well, millions for the final pennies circulated in the U.S. before the government ended cents production back in November.
Man, if I was smart...
They sold 232 3-cent sets.
So one from each of the mints?
Yeah. Containing the last 3 pennies ever made. Let's see. The 232nd set containing the last 3 pennies ever made sold for $800,000. That bidder also got the 3 dies that struck those Lincoln cents.
So he can now print his own pennies?
No, I'm pretty sure it's illegal.
I'm not saying it's legal, but he has the means to. If he has the die.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, to get the press and all that stuff.
It would look a little suspect. You'd have to pretty much do them all this year.
Yeah, and there's pennies.
Because the die has the year on it.
Right, and how many pennies would you have to strike to make it worth getting the press and all the other parts and pieces you have to...
Yeah,
he still spent $800,000.
The reason why they stopped making them is because it was more expensive to make than it was
right.
than they were worth.
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you know when the penny was introduced?
If I were smart, if I were super smart, I would have gone about a couple months ago. I would have gotten a found like a cardboard paper printer company to print me little boxes or little books with 3 cutouts for each of the pennies, and sold these little paper boxes for like $5 to everybody who wants to try to get the collection. Because remember they did it with the quarters?
Right.
The state quarters started coming out, and you collect all the quarters.
I've got a set of them, yeah.
You know, and so like if I were smart, like that would have been a brilliant thing. Because people would have bought them, a couple bucks. Like if you make them cheap enough. You know, and then do like a really nice version for the really classy ones, like with leather and stuff.
I think we were working at McDonald's when the state quarters started coming out. And I remember it got annoying because occasionally people would ask, like, hey, do you have this state or... Do you have this date? And I'm like, I'm not going through the fucking drawer to look for...
I'm not in the business. I'm not getting paid to find coins for you in my drawer.
Like, go talk to your bank. They can order them for you or whatever.
I mean, I have a lot of questions about the penny situation. I understand there are millions of dollars. I can't remember what the total number of pennies in circulation are. I would be curious what the estimate of pennies in the garbage,
Sure.
like in landfills, like... The estimate of how many dollars worth of pennies are in landfills. Right. I'm sure it's not a small number. I'm sure the estimate is millions. But in actual physical circulation, there are millions of dollars still in circulation in pennies. But like it's a conundrum.
I've already seen like signs of like places warning like they may not be able to give exact change. I forgot to mention, I think it's like a month or so ago.
Does that seem like problematic to you? That seems problematic to me.
What?
Like, if we can't give exact change.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Some places have already started to, like, implement a policy like McDonald's was doing. Like, basically, if it was, like, 37 cents, they would round down. But if it was 33, they round up or
But, like, think about that on a McDonald's scale. Like, that's a lot of money, one way or the other. Like, if they're doing simple rounding, where it's up to 7, or 2 or 7, they round down, or more than they round up to the nickel, right?
Right.
So but essentially they're going to be stealing a penny on average. I mean, I think mathematically the average would come out that they're stealing a penny on almost every transaction.
That's exactly why they do that policy.
But I mean, like, That's a lot of money. For McDonald's worldwide, or at least U.S. wide McDonald's, I would think that would add up to a significant sum of money in a short period of time.
Right.
And are we as the consumer taxpayer supposed to be okay with that? That this giant corporation is now stealing pennies from us? Because our government decided it wasn't worth doing anymore?
What are you going to do?
I don't know. But the inverse is also true, because like me, it was like, I don't want it. Like, I wouldn't want to round down, period. We're rounding up no matter what. Whether it's one, we're rounding up to the nickel. Because I can't afford to lose. Like, I can't afford to, like, well, one, what you do then, if you're McDonald's, what you do is you figure out your base price so that the majority of your transactions ends at that, at the 8. So you're rounding up all the time.
Yeah, but how easily can you do that with a full menu?
You could do it pretty easily.
I'll tell you, like, combinations are going to kind of skew that at times.
Probably not. I mean, I think I'd be curious. You might see the end of you might see the end of the use of the 9 as the last digit. Because I think the quick question will be is, so if we say something's $1.99, and that whatever little brain function is that people do, that
right,
they see
it's
the
not
dollar,
$2.
Right? It's not $2. It's $1.99. Like whatever that little brain function is that sees that allows people to spend more money because of that thing. Whether that mathematically makes more sense than making it 201, because then the 201 with the sales tax and all the other parts and pieces are going to round it to this number so that we can jack a couple pennies.
Yeah.
And so I think realistically, I wouldn't put it past anybody. I would do it if I was smart enough to figure out the math. I would push that direction to make sure that I'm always that significantly more often than not, I'm going to get it to round in my favor.
Close enough where people aren't going to get mad.
Right. Well, I'm only losing 2 pennies, but it's like, I mean, like on a good month, we do 3,000 transactions.
Right.
Now, to be fair, 2,000 of those are credit cards, so they'll get exact change. They won't get change, but that'll be exact figures. But on 1,000 transactions a month, if I'm stealing a penny here or there, that's $10 a month for my little business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an insignificant number on an economy that's already having shit's too expensive arguments. Like everybody's like, the shit is too expensive right now. So, for example,
I've heard it's all a Democrat hoax.
For example, and I know I'm in a stadium. It's always more expensive. I got a Little Caesars had a thing at the football stadium. It's Little Caesars deep dish, 2 slices. It's a pretty good chunk. To be fair, it's a pretty good chunk of pizza.
Yeah.
A Coca-Cola with free refills, which was pretty exciting for the stadium, and a bottle of water. You want to guess what my total was?
35.
29 and some change, plus tip. Because they asked for a tip when I did pay, and it's a cashless venue,
right?
So you have to pay with card, and so you get they put the total on there, they turn the screen towards you, hit the button for how much you want to tip, and then just swipe your card right there. Okay, thanks.
They actually mentioned the tip for however much you want to tip.
Yeah, it was one of those like 10%, 15%, 25%.
Right. But I mean, like the person standing there prompted you. It was like, just put whatever you want to tip.
Just pick what you want on there.
Okay.
On the tip screen, and you'll get and we'll get you taken care of. And I said, what? $32 for a Coke, a water, and I don't even know what you like. It's like about a slice of pizza, a good sized slice of pizza.
Yeah,
that's crazy talk. I
didn't get food at Bridgestone. I don't know if you did.
I didn't. I refilled this thing at a gas station, and a small bag of chips was $9.
Oh, what?
I feel like I missed something. I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really care. I was feeling guilty because I used their bathroom.
We had a bag of chips from the grocery store a few weeks ago, and I was surprised how expensive it was.
I mean, it's crazy. And so, but back to the main point is we're going to have companies for their own protection, I'm not faulting them for it, that are going to be setting up, we're rounding for cash sales, some sort of function to do that that's going to nickel and dime the price up just a little bit on top of everything's already too expensive. It's just another one on the pile, I guess, is my point of making things worse. Kiddo lost his mind in the car today. He's like, is this right? And I was like, what? He's like, this thing says that on average in the United States, so nationwide, $200,000 household income a year is the floor of middle class now.
Yeah, I've heard it's been going up.
You know, and I was like, it's a map. He's like, yeah. I was like, what's Tennessee? He's like, $180,000 a year is
For a household?
per household.
Yeah.
Is the floor of middle class in Tennessee right now. That's crazy. I don't know how they factor it. I'm guessing it's the buying power more than it is income. It's what you can get. Like, I'm guessing, like the way they. I don't know. How would you set up a class conversation? Like, you can afford. Like, you can comfortably afford X, Y, and Z. You could comfortably, or
you're not gaining a lot of monetary, but you're not
right.
You're not struggling day to day.
Right. You are capable of doing it without going into debt or something like that. Roddy's singing along with the fire truck, apparently, that's running down the street right now. He hasn't done that inside in a while. Anyway, Roddy, it's the end of the show. You're gonna sing us out. I hope you guys can hear it. One more?
Go save some lives.
And what's funny is he never did it for years. And then our neighbor dog started doing it. And then he started doing it. So it's a reaction to the neighbor dog doing it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember him doing it for years.
It's like, I'm going to let you outdo me. I can do it too.
Right. I'll show you. And I don't know, whatever. They fight in the fence all the time. It's kind of hilarious. All right, you want to do one more, or you want to call it there?
Nah, there wasn't really other.
We kind of went long on the subtext of it. I think that'd be a fun, maybe not a fun topic, but an interesting topic to explore, like this cost of living thing that's going crazy right now. In a future episode, not tonight. Bye. Merry holidays, everybody. Merry holidays. However you do them your way and enjoy them. We hope you have a great week. We hope you get to hang out with some people that you like and enjoy their company and whatnot. That's what we're going to try to do. And then we'll come back and talk about something. Maybe we'll have some interesting topic will come from family as we're hanging out with them this coming week. So anyway, we're almost in agreement. I don't really feel like doing the rest of the outro. Go do the things that help us out. Tell your friends about us and that kind of stuff. We'll talk to you later. Bye. About it.